All right, well, let's jump into real estate because I have been seeing some stories, my friends. They have been everywhere about, could it be home prices are coming down? Is that truly happening? Is that what you're seeing, Jim?
Well, yes and no. I mean, mostly no. I don't see home values coming down. What I'm seeing is that I'm seeing indicators, but yeah, kind of them is a little bit false. What I'm seeing is that there is more inventory. I'm seeing more time on market for the houses that are on, and I am seeing price reduction. So I know what you're thinking. All those things are indicators of house prices coming down. Well, with the exception of 55 communities, the price reductions that I'm seeing are happening are when the home was overpriced in the first place. So let's say there's a home that's, fair market value is 800,000, but they listed it at 900,000, and then they eventually, over time, the house doesn't sell, long market time, and then they drop the price to 800,000 using a price reduction. Well, you know what? Go figure. It was never there in the first place. So, but that stuff makes headlines. And is it really home prices are coming down, or is it that was never a $900,000 house? It was always an $800,000 house, and the seller just had it overpriced in the beginning. So I will say that the market can go any direction right now. I think all the key pieces are there for it to continue a steady climb up, for it to go down a little bit, or for it to stay steady. The only thing I can say with any and I don't normally say that. Normally I'm a lot more definitive, but I don't normally say that I don't know what it's going to do. But one of the things I can say is whatever it does do, it's not going to do it dramatically. Yeah. We're going to see a very slight continuing of prices increase, or maybe a slight drop off, or just doing nothing.
And I got to say, just as a little add in here, Jim, as much as I want to see home prices go down for people who want to buy homes or for first time buyers, there are a lot of us who have a lot of equity now in our homes. And so you don't necessarily want to see those sharp drops either. So it's an interesting time. Now, you did a little carve out about 55 communities. Are their prices coming down?
Yeah, I think they are. Those communities are having a real tough time now. So there's 6 basic reasons. Well, actually, when I'm with you guys, it's 7 basic reasons why somebody sells a house, right? This is why they actually sell their house. It's death, divorce, destitute, displacement, like a job transfer. Those are people that are forced to sell their houses. They have no choice. It doesn't matter that they're sitting on a 2.5% interest rate. So those are the first 4: death, divorce, displacement, and destitute. That's a lot of what we've been seeing in the market. Now, the next 3, everywhere else it's just 2, but with you guys it's 3. Then you have diamonds, right? Meaning you got married, bought a house. You have dependents, you have kids, and you upsize, and the kids move out, and then you downsize. And then here on our loyal audience, we have the 7th one of what I call ditch, meaning they're ditching California. Right. And I think you were the one who came up with that, by the way.
I think so. I think I helped with that.
All right. All right, so keeping those in mind, the normal progression of a homeowner is, and if I was face to face with you, I would be holding up my hand, putting all my fingers together, so you'd be seeing the back of my hand, starting at the pinky. I would say this is where you buy your very first house. All right, you got diamonds, you got married, you bought your first house, and then you had kids, dependents, and you upsize a house. And then you have more kids, but also you're now a little bit older, you have more money, so then you upsize a 3rd time. Now you're up on the middle finger, the tallest finger. All right, now you've gone up a few times, and then also in that house is when the kids move out. So then you downsize one, go into your pointer finger. All right, and then you move to the retirement community, the 55 community, which is your thumb. Okay, so you've gone up 3 and you've gone down 2. All right, that's the normal progression, the life cycle of a homeowner. And every one of them backfills the next one. So for example, you have, let's go back to your pinky, the diamonds, you bought your first house. Then you have kids and you upsize, all right? You leave that first house and you upsize to a new house. Well, there's new people who got married that backfill you, right? That buy that first house. And then when you upsize again to your middle finger to the bigger house, well, then there's people that were diamonds and now they have dependents and they move up to your ring finger. Right. And they move up to that. Right. And then so I'm showing you that every one of those backfills the other. However, all of those people have a 2.5% interest rate now, so they aren't moving, right? They're not backfilling anything.
Interesting.
However, there is one group that is moving. It's the people in the 55 community. They are moving out. And honestly, just the absolute nicest way I can say that is time. They're moving out because of time, father time, right? So that community, people are leaving it, but there's nobody backfilling it. So that's why the 55 communities are getting hit especially hard because.
And that's a really great point about those interest rates. People are holding on to them, that's for sure. So why is it that when we see reports of housing prices that they always talk about the median home price? We just had one about the ridiculously high median home price in California. Is that the best way to evaluate home prices?
No, I hate it. It's awful. It's the media use it because it's the one that moves around the most. So, if it bleeds, it leads. If it's dramatic, then we're going to lead with it. There was a report in April that said, and I'm just going to use San Diego, for example, because I just read this the other day.
It was the highest, yeah.
Yeah, it was. Well, what was interesting about it, it said home prices in San Diego, the median house price was $980,000, which was down 6.7% from last April.
Okay.
Now, did houses really go down 6.7%?
Hope not.
No, they didn't. They actually went up. And the reason that they do this is it's simply a number that means, now median, if you want to have some fun, look it up. Jump on the Google machine and look it up because you can get some really funny definitions of median. Now it shows, let's say it just shows the equal number of houses were sold above or below that number. So if there was 101 houses sold, they're going to choose the price of a house where there was 50 sold above and 50 sold below.
Right.
Now, what it does not take into consideration is market trends. Like sometimes the trend is toward McMansions and it's away from condos. Now, if you own, let's say, a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in Murrieta, right? Neither one of those is your buyer, and your house is only worth what somebody will pay for, what your buyer will pay for. Well, the buyer for the McMansion and the buyer for the condo, they're not your buyer. Right. So it just doesn't matter. So right now you're seeing a little bit more trend toward condos and less toward the McMansions. So you're seeing the median house price, meaning more condos are being sold than McMansions. So that will pull the median house price down. But that doesn't mean that your value of your 3.2 or 4.3 house that you have in Murrieta has changed at all. But that's why the media uses it, is because that is a number that swings violently, extremely on either side, but it's not really an indication of the value. I just wish they used average, but
I know it is odd. You would think average would give us a much better idea of where the prices are. All right, what are your?
It does.
Yeah,
but
instead of the
average
median list,
isn't going to make a news story that somebody's going to read.
Isn't that the truth? I mean, that you've just uncovered the truth to all of our problems. Actually, is that the media just needs salacious headlines all the time.
Yes.
All right, what are your thoughts, Jim? And we're talking with Jim Bottrell at Jim Bottrell Real Estate Team. He has the buyers. Jim has the buyers.com. Easy enough for you to find him. What are your thoughts, Jim, on certain websites for the value of homes? So a lot of people love to use Zillow and its Zestimate. What's your opinion on that? Are they accurate?
Well, I'd say that Zillow is probably the best, and I've looked at all of them, but everybody's going to have their own opinions on it. Now, any one of those websites, let's not just isolate Zillow. Let's use them all. Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Homes, and whatever else you come up with. They're pretty good for tract homes and condos, which is most homes. It's where you have a home that very close to you, there's a lot of very similar homes being sold, right? Those are your tract homes, your condos. The Zestimates are pretty good, or whatever their home estimate is not bad at all. Where they really struggle, and this is all the websites, is unique homes, low homes that sit on land, homes that, because there's no way for them to get past their algorithm. And you just got to remember, it's an algorithm. It simply measures what your neighbor's home sold for and compares that home's bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, lot size to yours. What it cannot do is value the condition or the amenities of your home. If your home is your home highly upgraded? Is it a hoarder home? Does it have a view? Does it have a Four Seasons Infinity Edge backyard with a pool?
What if I'm an upgraded hoarder? Does that count?
What was that?
What if I'm an upgraded hoarder? Is that good?
An upgraded hoarder, you know what? That's an oxymoron. They don't go together.
Okay.
They just don't. And there's a lot of those homes for sale right now.
Yeah.
So what I always say is every home stands on its own merits. And it's funny how often people look at the Zestimate, or whatever it is. And I have these conversations, and it's always funny, but it's almost as if they believe that God himself has descended from the heavens, walked the property, measured the rooms, and said, while making a cross motion with his hands, this is the value of the home. Let it be said, let it be so. It is really funny when people, it's like, there is no way for the algorithm to know what the inside of your house looks like. There is no way for the algorithm to know if your house has a view or not.
You're not living and dying by this estimate, but you know what? You want to use it for research purposes? Perfect. All right. What are your thoughts on buyers who are waiting for prices and waiting for interest rates to come down before buying? There are a lot of them out there.
Yeah, one of my favorite sayings is actually probably not one of my favorite one is you don't wait to buy real estate. You buy real estate and then you wait, right? You don't day trade real estate. Just don't. So if you're waiting for prices to come down, do we know if that's going to happen or not? I don't know. I know that I have a lot of people that I worked with back in, 2019, 2020, 2021, and they opted not to buy because housing prices were too high. So they elected to keep renting, waiting for prices to come down. Well, where are those people now? Those houses are 40% more now.
Yeah.
So a personal example of the saying of you don't wait to buy real estate, you buy real estate, then wait. Because I always say time fixes everything in real estate is a perfect personal example. I'm in the real estate industry. I own rental properties. I bought a rental property, my very first rental property in the early 2000s, and I paid $312,000 for it. And then when the market crashed, the bottom of the market, that same home was worth just $180,000. I was way upside down on that thing, but I didn't sell it. I still own it today. I signed the loan documents that says I'm going to pay you back, and that means something to me. So I kept that, and I'm glad I did because time fixed everything. I paid $312 for it. It went down to $180, but today it's worth $950,000.
Wow.
So when I say you don't wait to buy real estate, you buy real estate, then wait. It doesn't matter what what happens in the short term. The long term will fix it. I mean, I challenge always. I mean, I do this with my team quite a bit. Call your parents, call your grandparents if they're still around. Ask them, and all the listeners, please do this because this is going to prove my point to you. Ask them, what was the address of the very first home they bought and how much did they pay for it? Right? So, for example, my grandfather bought a house in San Pedro in 1948 and he paid $4,000 for it. Which, by the way, he was only making $1,200 a year.
Sure.
Okay? Paid $4,000 for it. That house is worth $1.6 million today.
Wow. Yeah.
It's not my family lineage anymore.
Darn it.
The house that I grew up in, my parents bought this house in La Palma, California. They paid $29,000 for it. It's worth 1.2 today. Right? And that was in 1971 they bought that. So people, you don't wait to buy real estate. You just buy real estate and then wait. It doesn't matter what happens in the short term. It's always going to go up. But one of my favorite conversations, my grandfather's not around anymore, but my dad is. And I told him, or I asked him, I said, when you bought that house for $29,000, did you ever think it was going to be worth $39,000? And he said, no, that's what he talked about, almost 50%. I said, no, what about $50,000? And he goes, no, I never would have thought it would double. And I said, so what about $100,000? And he goes, that, we're not even talking reality. I'm like, well, yeah, it's worth, well over $1 million now. So, you also have to realize that he had a mortgage payment that was $183 a month. And then when it jumped to $189 a month, as he says, I was sweating it.
Yeah.
So everything, everything's relative, but, and then I think you also asked about interest rates. One of my other favorite sayings is, you marry the house and you date the rate. If interest rates go down, if you are the buyer who's waiting for interest rates to go down, what will happen is you're going to see a massive mad rush for people to move in the market. Because if, let's say 5.5% is your magic number or 5% is your magic number, you understand there are millions of people in the country that are waiting that have that same number, that they're all going to hit the market at the same time. And you're going to see housing prices explode. Housing prices will skyrocket because all of those people will come in. So my best advice is buy it today, pay today's interest rate. So you marry the house at today's price. Then when, not if, interest rates come down, when they come down, just like dating, you get a better one.
Yeah.
Right?
Upgrade
Ditch it,
or downgrade, depending.
Yeah. So anyway, that's through refinancing. And you can always do that. So, when you buy your house, the day you buy it, that's the max your payment is really ever going to be. I mean, you do have some small adjustments for property taxes and insurance, which is a whole nother topic. But for the most part, that's your payment. And then you can actually make it go down as interest rates go down. You refi. The house I live in right now, when I first bought the house, the interest rate was 5. Today, I've got 2.25.
That's amazing. And I think it's really great advice too, because we're all just waiting and watching, but you can get the house you want. And as you mentioned, if those interest rates go down, you go down with them. You can go ahead and refinance. It's an easy thing to do.
Date the rate.
Yeah.
Get a better one. Ditch it and get a better one.
I like ditch it and get a better one. That's the Jim Bottrell model.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm always going to bring some humor everybody's going to remember, right?
Yeah, you got to. You know what? This shouldn't be a sad time. It should be a great time when you're making moves and looking at a place that you want to live and settle with your family. I mean, these are happy things. And I know they're a source of stress anytime money is involved, but you want to make it as happy as possible. Jim Bottrell will always do that for you, give you a few laughs along the way. The Jim Bottrell Real Estate Team is ready for you. BottrellTeam.com is where to go. And Jim, it is always
thebuyers.com.
Yeah, Jim has the buyers.com. I was given that one earlier, and I wanted to make sure that we got both of them out there. But Jim has the buyers.com. So easy. You don't even have to worry about how to spell his last name. Jim has the buyers.com. Easy to get to, and give him a call. Let him help you today. Jim, always great to have you along with us and giving us some of these really great tips.
Great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Always fun. Jim has the buyers.com.